Right now.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Go ahead and get it.
But she's leaving for me. So we're having it here on the side. What the heck?
Yogurt and strawberries and lemonade.
Healthy. No, I'll see if there's anything left. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't actually start until 12:15.
Yeah. You would. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I was here. When we did something for my computer, so
Glad you live close, huh?
yeah, well, in fact, as I was driving back, I was like, because, there was a little stress, with the fact that I had to go back home, and I'm like, gratitude. I'm so grateful that I
That it was almost 12. I can't remember, 11 something. And I'm thinking, oh, I hope I make that time.
Do you want us to solve this? Oh, you brought water? Okay, good. Does somebody else bring water? Oh, I just brought some little water, so that's great. I love water, so. So.
I've been looking for small ones. So if you don't mind, I'm getting to the UK on Saturday, so this will be going on to Saturday. Yeah, I've been here for 2 weeks, that's the other day. So, so she told me
That's at your house, I can just play.
Looked at lots of different ways of doing it. On your world, something like Outlook and everything. I'm very excited about it all, so I'm really happy to look at it.
It just says not power and just.
Yeah, she's saying you're coming to the UK.
Yeah, we're.
I'd be very interested to know.
Yeah, my. Yeah. My name is Carolyn. Sorry, she's going by Jane. Yes. Just happened last week, so I don't really know. I sorry. No, it's my drink. I'm working with some students in LA. So there was so good to see you. So for my book, before you meet them.
Yeah, I want to eat my mouth. Are you on the path yet?
No, my house is still busy. Welcome everyone. The live stream has started, and I just want to welcome all of you to Strongbrook's Women's Empowerment Group meeting day. All of you that can watch on the live stream now, I'm so excited that everyone can participate. Even the men, if we don't know that they're there, right? So, because some of the men have wanted to see our presentations because they're so awesome, right? Today I have a few announcements. I want to just let you know that from now on we are going to be having women's group. It's going to be the third Thursday of every month, either at Shanna's or here at 12 o'clock. and just so it can be predictable for all of us. And then we're also going to be having, we're going to start having workshops on the last Saturday of every month. And so let me kind of explain what we're going to be phasing into as the CCMN is getting the freemium app, right? So that's going to be coming out the beginning, or well, I don't know if it's the beginning, but in June sometime we're going to get the freemium app. And what I want to do with that is take that opportunity and have all our studying come from that, from the freemium app. So all of your guests that you now bring, they will have free access to whatever we're studying as a group. So they will get a little taste of the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. And then after that, so they'll come that third Thursday of every month. And then we'll have the potluck lunch and everything, easy way to invite. And then after that, they can also be invited to that the next week. The Saturday of that next week will be a workshop where we're going to actually study as a group a program that's in the vault. And so in order for them to participate in that, they would have to upgrade to be part of our network. So it gives them an opportunity and a choice. They can come free for every month here, right? But if they want to participate in the workshops with us, then they would need to sign up. So that just gives you a little leverage of, and you know, just a fun way to introduce them to our network and the group. And so I'm very excited about that. I also have a beta group up in Idaho that are working on a little leadership test where they are, and this was Jamie Matheson's idea, so thank you, Jamie, if you're watching. Anyway, so she's actually going to high-level women in corporations that are leaders, and she's telling them, hey, I need leaders, I need women leaders to form these groups, and she's got different ways that she's been doing it. I'm thinking if you want to try it, I was thinking that it would be awesome to explain to them kind of what the network is, even say, you know, I would like you to participate in a survey. We would love for you to take a certain amount of your people at work, or, you know, even if they want family members, whoever, whatever group they want, and then do kind of a 10-week experiment of just using our free product. So the only thing it would cost them is time, right? And say that, so that we have this free product, we're just looking for feedback and wondering what the results would be if you just take this little group, you know, whatever group you have, and see what kind of results you can get in upping their productivity, their thinking, all that kind of stuff, how they feel about their life in just you know, 6-week, 10-week period of time, whatever they want to put together. So so we'll be creating some surveys and some different things if that's something that would interest you in. Who here would like to do that? Who here thinks that would be a good idea? Okay, so that's good. So in that regard, we can start building little chapters of the Strongbrook Women's Empowerment Group in lots of different places, right? And especially with the freemium app, because then there's always free content to be studying. That is exciting, and I'm just going to be really cool because we'll actually be diving into the vault as a group and really getting some mentoring done, right? An opportunity to get it done. So that is really fun. I have a couple of announcements from different people. Jane Haney is selling these laminated comic strips. And the amazing part about this, and I think it's $3, right? The amazing part about this is it actually has a comic about real estate and personal development all on the same page. So if you would like this as kind of a business card, I guess, to give to people to interest them, you can do that. Get a hold of Jane Haney. And then I also want to let you know Bonnie and Matt Parks and Ryan and Melissa Armstrong are lecture series every week, 8 o'clock in their home, at Matt's home. And they are yes, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And the next speaker is coming up. Bonnie's going to be speaking on how thoughts determine our actions. The next speaker is Kevin Clayson. And the next speaker, I'm so excited, is my son, Preston. Is going to be at his first official speaking gig besides doing his own meetings. My son's 13. And for those that you don't know.
When is Preston on?
Preston is going to be, I think it's June 2nd. I think that's the Tuesday. Anyway, so he is going to be, he's really excited about it. I'm excited for him. And, you know, honestly, that's what Strongbrook does for families, is it creates just this higher level of thinking. Like in my home, I mean, you know, from the things that we used to talk about a long time ago to the things that we're talking about all the time now. I mean, we're talking about, you know, my son and daughter, my son-in-law and my daughter, you know, they just finished their first novel. And we're talking about, you know, doing speaking and teen camps and how we can, you know, just all of these things. How can we help humanity in general? Like your thinking just gets bigger and bigger, and the way you perceive your ability to actually impact the whole human race just continues to go up as you put these kind of thoughts in your mind. I notice, like who here read the 10X book? Did you guys read that? By 10X by Grant Cardone. Anyway, that was recommended by Raju Salam. And anyway, so I just got done with that, and I trained on that. You might want to go to the archive, yeah, because I trained on it on Monday. Anyway, it's just when you have these kind of thoughts in your mind, often you just can't help but turn into a powerhouse. You really can't, because you're just, boom, you're just ready to go and ready to do some great things. So that is phenomenal. And thank you everyone for bringing food. It smells so delicious. I will now turn the time over to.
Can you tell us about Jane?
Oh, Jane. Oh, the story about Jane. Okay, I'll tell you that. I didn't want to take. Okay, I'll tell you the story about becoming Jane. Okay, so one thing that I taught about on Monday is that, you know, luck. Do you guys think you just get lucky? How do you get lucky in your opportunities?
You're prepared. You're pursuing things.
You're prepared, yeah. Preparation and action, right? Yeah. When preparation marries action, all of a sudden you get lucky, right? And so I had an opportunity and be in a mastermind group, a very high level mastermind group, the first day, but then I got to spend, I have hired David Fagan to be my publicist. And so anyway, so I got to spend a lot of the rest of the week with him. And, you know, he starts his whole process. And one of the reasons why I'm explaining this to you is because May 23rd is our symposium with David Fagan. And so he is going to be coming and he's going to be teaching you about how he takes someone and he turns them in. What he does is he takes business people and turns them into celebrities, or he'll take a celebrity and turn them into a business person, whichever they need, right? And so because it's often, all of us are just incredible people. But unless other people perceive you that way, the way you really are, then they don't understand your value, I guess, of being with you. And so what he does is he turns you iconic, right? And does the things that make people really, want to know you. And so anyway, so part of that process is he goes all the way back. So when he's building like your brand and like your company's brand and all of that, he starts back at the very beginning with your name. And so he's like, okay, we're starting from ground zero, your name. How do you feel about your name? Like, I like my name. I'm like, I think I've done a pretty good job with this name. But anyway, and but we were going around the table, everybody was just sharing about their name and stuff. And I just happened to mention that my middle name was Jane, and they loved that. They just latched onto that. They're like, it's one syllable. No one will misspell it. It's a classic name. Jane, right? And there's Jane. Yeah, and so all of that, and so anyway, and Carolyn's like 3 syllables and all this stuff. And so he said he does not usually rename people because people love authenticity. And, and he's like, but with the fact that it actually really is your middle name, we got to go with that, So I was thinking about all of this, and it happened really fast. Like, I spent like a huge 12-hour day with him, and just boom, one thing after another, we just kept cranking out these neat things, different things in my life. So I had a lot to absorb, in those couple days. And hey, Julia, love your hair. So the next day I had an opportunity to do some filming with him. So we went to this green room studio, and have you guys been in a green room before, like a full blown green room studio? That was the first, you have to. That was like my first time, so it was really cool. and it was fun. And so anyway, but when I was there, he was having me meet people, right, in the studio, and I was meeting them as Carolyn. And so then we ended up in the green room just by ourselves for a little bit, and he's like, "So are you still okay with the whole Jane thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. I mean, I only had a night to sleep on, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm good with that." And he's like, "You just introduced yourself as Carol." I'm like, "Oh, it's cut off right now." But anyway, so I came back out there and I met everyone else as Jane. And then I did some filming. I did some, you know how we're gonna have little Strongbrook little videos that are gonna be on our app, like little 3-minute inspirational videos from our mentors that are gonna push through on the app. And so I did a couple with David, and then I did about like 5 or 6 with Steve Jennings. And so anyway, when I was doing that, I was introducing myself as Jane. So when you guys see those, it'll be Jane. So you know what? It felt a little funny at first. I'm getting more used to it.
It actually really fits you.
So you're welcome. You're welcome to call me Jane.
Yeah, I'll change my name to Carolyn.
There you go. We switched. So anyway, so that is my Jane story. And another part of the story was that all of this was supposed to be kept, at least as far as I thought, was supposed to be kept a secret until May, when David came and he like showed all stuff to you guys, what we did and everything. And then he got my book cover done, so he just blasted it out on Facebook, and then I was like, oh my gosh, everyone knows. So anyway, it's been a very fun process. But with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Laura Evans, who has so graciously offered to present to us on Christy Whitman's The Art of Having It All. Thank you. So, give her a round of applause.
Thank you. I'm really excited to introduce you to this book. I don't know if any of you have ever followed Christy Whitman. Is there anyone here that I've been following her? And excuse me, I'm going to sit down. So I've been following maybe almost 2 years, and she's just a powerhouse of energy and inspiration, and so she just came out with another book that came out this year, which is called The Art of Having It All, A Woman's Guide to Unlimited Abundance. And, you know, I thought, yeah, that's what we all want, is abundance. And so I'm going to do a little beginning, because as I was going through the book and I thought, you know, what can I say and how can I present this? And there's just so much valuable information in this book that I couldn't do it justice in just let me start by reading a little bit about her from her book so that you can kind of get an idea of who I'm talking about. It says, you and I are probably a lot alike. I'm in my early 40s. I'm married. I am a mother of 2 boys, ages 4 and 5. I have a busy life, a household to run, and a full-time job. Several of them, actually. I have lived through some difficult times. My sister's suicide, a divorce, an open heart surgery of my newborn son, to name a few. I am also the founder of an international acclaimed coaching academy and the creator of a library of personal development that reaches over 125,000 people. Now, doesn't she sound like something we need? Just in case you're wondering, this was not always my reality. In fact, just 17 years ago, I was unhappy in virtually every part of my life. I was 30 pounds overweight and nearly $60,000 in debt. I worked at a job I hated and had a knack of attracting the wrong kind of men. I tried everything I could think of to change the circumstances of my life, believing that affecting outer change was the key to inner action. Worked, and as a result, my life felt like a constant uphill struggle. So how did I get from where I was then to where I am today? The answer, I learned about the universal laws that govern deliberate creation. I applied them in my life, and almost immediately my reality began to transform. As I write these words, I can honestly say that I have manifested everything I have ever wanted and have created a life in which I truly have it all, spontaneously and effortlessly. This book is a combination of my convictions that every woman can have it all, as she defines it. Is this, and in this and in each evolving moment of her life, this message can challenge your notions of what you believe to be possible for you and your life. Unfortunately, the misconception that having it all is impossible and even detrimental to our well-being has gained a real foothold in the minds of many American women. And then she goes on to talk about an experience she had a few years ago that several people were invited to go to New York City to meet with producers and radio personalities and magazines, and to bring their resumes to them to see if maybe they would like to do an article about them. She said, one woman I met demographics, I approached her, asked, "Do you know what all New York women want?" "No, what?" She replied, "They want it all." I said, handing her my Media One sheet and contact information. Her reaction was intense and immediate. "Women can't have it all," she snapped, and then began telling me about the newly released book written by a prominent businesswoman who justified exactly why this was true. According to this author, she explained, what we women need to do is lower our expectations, not raise them, and that to seek fulfillment in all the areas of life simultaneously is unrealistic at best. At work, it's a sure recipe for overwhelm and stress. Then she asked me point blank, "Do you know any women who truly have it all?" "Yes," I replied. "I know many, and I am one of them." She goes on and explains to this lady what she's created in her life and what's going on. And then she says, she cut me off in mid-sentence and handed me back my paper I had given her. "I won't be needing this," she said, "because I don't believe that any woman can have it all." I looked her in the eyes as I took the paper back and said, "Therein lies the problem." And then I walked away. She says, contrary to popular belief, having it all is not about striving for perfection or about living our life according to someone else's standards or expectations. It's not about working ourselves to the state of exhaustion, spreading ourselves too thin, or trading inner peace and contentment for outer trinkets of success. The intention of this book is to upend those misconceptions and to show women, all women, that not only is it possible to have it all, but to settle for anything less is to deprive ourselves of the exhilaration, joy, expansion, and freedom of becoming all that we are capable of being. We were meant to have it all, to continually give birth to new desires and to fulfill them. It is the nature of our universe to expand, and we are part of that universe and all that is. Our ability to expand, to achieve, and to evolve is truly limitless. We'll come back a little bit with her in a bit. So I want you to stop and think a little bit. How would you define your all? Discovering our all is deeply personal mission, and each one of us undertakes it for ourselves. So, like, they don't have the same life experiences or same perspectives, the same goals, beliefs, or ideals. And for this reason, not any two women define having it all exactly in the same way. We don't all want the same things. Some thrive on devoting their time and their attention to their careers. Some center their world on building a happy marriage and family life. Some consciously decide not to have children and channel their energy instead in building a different type of community, one of service. Some, their friendships with other girlfriends are the major source of their fulfillment. For most of these examples, the fulfillment they derive from these areas always spill over into all the other areas of their lives. Having it all is having everything we desire in each aspect of our self-expression and in the proportion that is perfect for each one of us. One woman's idea of balance may be another woman's idea of a nightmare. Even for the same woman, our ideas about what we want out of life change and evolve as we do, from year to year, from day to day, and let's face it, from moment to moment. Let's face it, we never get it all done, because the moment we achieve, or the moment we create something new, that new vantage point brings our awareness to a new desire to create something different and more. Now let's explore the idea of having it all. When that possibility is presented to most women, their usual resistance comes up, and we hear things like, having it all is not possible, because it's not possible for me to own every single pair of shoes that's ever been made. I can't possibly have every amazing vacation there is to take, and I can't own every house or car or boat or have all the money in the world. Of course, this is absolutely correct. We do have one limitation in life, and that limitation is time. While it is not possible for us to own all the material possessions in the world, the real question is, who would want to? I mean, I have enough trouble with storage space in my own little place. Can you imagine? Having it all is not about doing or having or being every possible thing there is to do and have and be. It's about manifesting those experiences that call our attention and that speak to our unique values, dreams, hopes, and desires. Now, Christy suggests that there's two levels that we live on. The first level is a materialistic dimension. It's how we want our lives to look. Conditions of our body, our homes, relationships, finances, careers, etc. The second level is the non-physical dimension, which is the internal feeling that we have about ourselves and our lives. Now she says both dimensions are important, but the inner experience that we have is of having it all is what allows us to attract, receive, and enjoy the outer manifestations. The fulfillment that comes from knowing that we are whole, complete, and abundant beings is what draws into our life the external circumstances that match and mirror back to us our inner feeling of fulfillment. So having it all simply that is important to you. We need to develop the nature of abundance, love, connection, joy within ourselves. How can we do this? She suggests, and see if these kind of ring in your memory, that we do not attach to other people's opinions. We do not try to gain others' approval. Our feel-good feeling is not dependent on the way anyone else behaves. We are free to choose how we want to feel in any given moment. The inner experience of having it all is one of being fully connected to our life force. For me, that is God. For others, it may be the universe or any way you want to term it, that you look at your source of help. Without this inner connection to self, our outer accomplishments are shallow and fleeting. Christy explains it in this way. In the world of outer appearances, we can have all the things we think will make us happy and still feel empty, restless, unfulfilled, or discontent inside. She goes on to quote from the late comedian George Carlin, who in his unique way of putting things said, "Trying by accumulating possessions is like trying to satisfy hunger by taping sandwiches all over your body." Now, that would look pretty silly, wouldn't it? But I bet we all know someone who has substituted their inner connection to happiness by surrounding themselves with things, thinking all these things will make them happy. Now, come on, ladies. Haven't we all done this from time to time? Let me go back to what she has to say. When we find ourselves living in a situation that looks good from the outside, but no longer brings us inner joy, we can choose one of two paths. We can deny or repress our discontent and shrink ourselves so we can continue to fit into a life that is too small or no longer serves us. Or we can embrace the new direction our soul is urging us towards and make the choice not to shrink, but to stretch. The first path leads to depression, resignation, and chronic discontent. The second path brings exhalation, freedom, and even deep experience of fulfillment. So if you can see and define what your all is for you, the logical question is, why don't we already have it? Think about what life was like when you were a little girl. Or if that is difficult, think about a small child that you know, or either one of your friends, small child. What is life like for them? May I suggest a few ideas? Most small children are wide open, unbounded, unlimited number of possibilities in their lives. Life is like an empty chalkboard. a blank slate. They are usually very 100% open to all possibilities. Modifying our behavior to be more pleasing was foreign to us when we were little. Love was something that was given freely, not something that we had to earn. For most of us, a childhood is a time of joy, adventure, grace, and wonder. So what happened? At some point in our young lives, as a result of experiences we have, we learn that there are conditions to what we once perceived as an unconditional existence. And we learn that to secure love and acceptance, we must comply. These conditions come from many sources: parents, siblings, peers, teachers, and sometimes complete strangers. So what are these unwritten rules in the handbook of life? Let me suggest what Christy suggests. She said, here are a few. See if they kind of resonate with you. It's selfish to listen to yourself and do what makes you happy. So do what others think you should do and make them happy instead. Be constantly on the lookout for what they think about you, because what they think of you is way more important than you think of yourself. There is only so much attention and success to go around. Better fight for your share, but don't become successful or shine too brightly, because others will reject you. Who are you to be that successful anyway? You are not enough as you are, so you better work hard to gain the love and acceptance of others. Scripts like these are being played out behind the scenes of our conscious awareness as the internal conversation we continually have with ourselves. Looking instead at life through the lens that anything is possible, we now see, hear, sense, and let in only those possibilities that we already believe are possible. Suddenly, instead of having the experience that life is wide open and limitless, we have the experience that life is limited. And tragically, instead of feeling and behaving like the powerful creators we are, we begin to adapt the role of being a victim. Christy then goes on to discuss beliefs. I won't go into the reference here, but she points out that our beliefs inform our thoughts, which influence our feelings, which direct our actions, and our actions manifest our outcomes. Something that we've heard before several times. She says our beliefs are only true if we empower them to be. At every moment, we can choose a belief towards our greatness rather than towards our limitations. Anytime we are looking outside ourselves for an experience that can only be generated from within, such as approval, recognition, acceptance, and love, we are coming from a mindset of lack, searching for external things that we hope will make us feel good inside is the cause of much of our unhappiness. Then she goes in to talk about energy and vibrations, the law of attraction. The law of attraction is universal, meaning it works for everyone all the time, whether we are aware of it or not. This universal law has been written about and passed down throughout the ages. Buddha made the observation that as a man thinketh, so he becomes. Even the golden rule, do unto others as we would have others do unto us, is a testament of the basics understanding that we have, that we send out, whatever we send out eventually comes back. Christy states, once you decide what it is that you want and begin to vibrate from that place, you absorb and internalize the feelings of already having manifested. The rest is just watching for it to show up. To find out whether the vibrations we are sending out is attracting or repelling our all that we desire, we need only to pay attention to the way that we feel, because our emotions are like guideposts. Each changing moment is in alignment with the expanded or the contracted version of ourselves. Generally speaking, when we feel good, we are in the energy field of abundance. When we feel bad, we are in the energy field of lack. The better we feel, the more allowing and receptive we are to the relations to our desires. The worse we feel, the more resistance we are in, and the harder they will be to obtain. Emotions are simply energy in motion, and like the keys on a piano, each one vibrates at a particular frequency. And then she, in her next page from that reading, she goes into a list of vibrations. And I think a couple months ago or so, we talked about the different vibrations and how we feel when we hear those. Rather than go through that list, I've made a handout for you, which is over there on the ledge, that you're free to take, that talks about the different vibrations. The last thing I'd like to kind of talk about that I thought was interesting in her book is, she says one of the coaches that she had always has taught her that there's always 9 options that we have. And the way the coach explained that is she took her hands and she interlocked her fingers, or thumbs, and having the hands face out, she said to Christy, when you think about a problem that you're having, you have 9 options. And then she put her hands by her heart, and she said, if you will listen to your heart and think about those options that you have individually, then you can solve your problems, because one of those options will resonate with you and help you to come to that conclusion that you need. Christy later learned that placing the hands facing out towards the world while the thumbs are connected together at the heart is actually an ancient medulla that symbolizes freedom. So when our hands are in this position, they take on the shape of a butterfly, reminding us that we are always free to fly in the direction of our own choosing. Let me close by saying that she really strongly urges us by saying the way to be satisfied is simply to be yourself. The most exciting part of manifesting is not the getting, it's the becoming. Thank you for letting me share this book with you. I just loved it so much. And on the sheet over there with the vibration, on the backside are some other quotes that I took out of her book for you. Also, there's a little link there that you can go to, ChristyWhitman.com. She does a Monday morning, she calls it magnetic Monday, which she does a little interview with a lot of other mentors and that. That's why I'm so excited I've been trying to work with Carolyn to try to get her into our program, because there's just so much that she has that, we would love to have her.
Where's she from?
Well, her main office that she works out of is in Las Vegas, but she spends half a year there and then the other half in Montreal. Her husband is Canadian, and so he works with her in her business, and so they spend the year half and half.
Laura, round of applause. We can pass these out. Anyway, well, that was really wonderful. Did you guys love that? Was that awesome? That was really good. And I just want to share with you that this is so possible, right? This is what she was talking about in her book really happens in real life. I've lived it. I've experienced it. And when she was talking about how we are in happiness often when we keep shrinking, right? When we keep contracting. And I was thinking about my life when I had serious PTSD and severe depression, and how all my choices seemed to be shrinking me, right? Because I wasn't breaking through fear. I wasn't breaking through fear so that I could stretch and I could grow, because I knew I was in there. And you guys know how much of you is in there to break out and that even if I was scared, I was gonna do it anyway, because the scarier thing, what's scarier than doing something that you're afraid of? Not doing it, right? Not doing it, because then that person inside never shows up on the outside. And the amazing things that have happened in my life since I started making those stretching choices are unbelievable. This Mother's Day, I was just blown away. I came downstairs. My son-in-law is like cooking me an omelet. Everyone is rallying around me. I have flowers, I have cards, I have all this stuff. My family is so incredibly happy. And I come down the stairs and I just was so overwhelmed with joy that I just had to just shout and be like, I love my life. And going back a few years where, my daughter was trying to check out of life, there was just constant fighting. There was just the anger and the tension and the victimhood, and all of those things were just a few years back. And then it was happening. I have it all. And when she's talking about having it all, what that brings to mind for me is the moment when I still, our $250,000 debt, whatever, I hadn't quite paid that off, and I was looking so forward to that moment, right? That last payment that was going to get me into the black, because I'd been in the red almost a decade. And so I was really counting on that being one of the sweetest moments of my life. And it was awesome, I will say it was awesome. But I had a sweeter moment, and that happened after a meeting, like a Monday leadership meeting, when I was with you guys. And I just felt my heart was just so full of love for each person and how magnificent you are and how awesome you are. And the fact that I get to share my time with you. And I just had this opportunity to be around you. And I had done a fun training and everything was just so great. And I went out to the car and I just sat there we always have those moments that just, life sometimes just brings us those special moments that we remember that exact time. And I just was sitting there in the car and I was like, this is having it all. This is abundance. And I still had at that time, I still had some debt still left that I was going to have to pay off, but it didn't matter, because inside I had become an abundant person. And that's the art of having it all. That is when you can feel like that. Most of the time, at least, that is when life just becomes this beautiful symphony, and God is just using you as a tool, or the universe, however you look at it. And as you stretch, then that very next day, wow, something new, something fantastic, an opportunity to grow in a way happens, and you have an opportunity to bless others in a phenomenal way that you may have never thought that you would be able to. And so I believe having it all is possible because I'm living it. and I hope all of you are too. So thank you, Laura. Our next meeting will be the third Thursday of next month. I'm not sure exactly. Somebody want to get on your calendar and see what day that is for everyone?
Well, Sunday's the 21st.
Thursday.
20th, 1918, the 17th.
June 18th.
Okay, so it's going to be June 18th. It'll be June 18th, the Thursday, noon, and Shanna, your house will be available. Okay, so we'll get the fun of going to Shanna's house, and thank you, Shanna. No, that's wonderful. Thank you for having that.
Getting back from Africa with Ann West, so it'll be.
Oh, wow, that's great. And Ashley Nance is going to, she's going to be presenting for us that day. And Ashley Nance. And it's going to be on creating fabulous newsletters for your teams. So that will be really, really awesome. And then after that, by the next time, I think we'll be able to study the freemium app. So with that, I'm going to turn this off. And I love you guys. So thank you. Thanks for everything.
This was incredible.
Oh, sure. Sure. Go up here. Sure.
Get one yet before everybody else thinks. I thought I might as well take advantage of inviting you to some things that are coming up since you're here. And so this month, as part of the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network service project, we didn't have an actual project we're involved with, but because Marianne Denovelis was able to plan something for June, but not May, we posted on the Facebook. There is an event tomorrow night up at the Radisson in Salt Lake City. Okay, so the Radisson downtown is at 215 West South Temple. And this is going to be a very meaningful event. It is called Magic, Music, and Miracles. Gerald Rogers' brother, Clint Rogers, has worked with an orphanage in Nepal for many, many years. And in the earthquake, it was completely destroyed. And there was another earthquake the other day, and so there's been a lot of damage. They are going to focus on rebuilding this orphanage, and there's a need for about $150,000 to $200,000. We've already raised $15,000, but Gerald just stepped right in with his tribe, and so this is a way that we can give back and provide service. A couple of things that you could do is invite people, come yourself. There's going to be some fabulous entertainment and music. It'll be from 7 to 9:30 at the Radisson. And we're just wanting to get the word out there. It's on all the Facebook, CCMN and Prosperity Tribe. We put that on there. There's also an Eventbrite that talks all about the orphanage and his involvement with that. There's already a foundation set up. There's a doctor that works with this group, and there's already all the financial things have been set up already for a long time. So the website is helpnepalorphanage.org, and people can go in there and also read about this event. But the event will be really fun, and there will be a silent auction. I have acquired a bunch of artwork from James Christensen. If you know James, he's a world-renowned artist, and I have yeah, he's in my neighborhood, and so he gave me a whole stack of different, very out-of-print things to auction off for the silent auction. And if you have anything that could be auctioned for the silent auction to contribute, if you don't have funds, or if you have anything that could be brought up, we welcome that. Come early, come at 6 o'clock if you want to come help. We'll be getting there early to help, but it does start at 7. So the Radisson, get the word out there. And Sherry?
Is there like a donation cover charge to get in? Are you?
I don't think so. It's all donation based. There is every penny. It's all donation. So the whole
I
event.
just didn't know if you were having like a secret entrance.
I mean, I know on the website it says like $50 or whatever. Even $1 is like helpful. Anything. So it's recommended. Whatever people can do, and everybody will go to the orphanage because it's already established and set up. The charitable foundation. It's not like there's no overhead like that. A project we can do the month of May, and also Tribe in the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network. Gerald is doing his Prosperity Breakthrough event. He did it last Thursday. He's doing another one tonight. It starts at 6:45 at the Hyatt house in Sandy. That's 9685 Monroe Street, South in Sandy, Utah. And it's good to go into Eventbrite and just, register for that so he knows kind of the numbers. But anyone who wants to invite guests or bring people to learn about prosperity, and he always offers a lot of value for his time and for your time. And he will be talking about the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network and the value it has, and mindset, getting out of scarcity mindset and coming into an abundance, prosperity mindset. And, Gerald's always very powerful that way. So those are two great events, in addition to, of course, our Manifest Now coming up on May 23rd. So
Does he charge for that yet?
no, it's free. It's free tonight. And he did say that, like, if you bring a bunch of people, he's trying to get IBDs. He does have to pay for the room. So, like, we give him $10 to just help if we bring guests, kind of thing. We're just trying to help him because it costs him $100 for the room. But
That's
yeah.
fantastic, Joy.
So,
That's great. That's awesome. Okay,
thank you.
so
Yes.
everyone, any other questions or anything? Are we good?
Great.
Okay, so just have some more food, and I love you guys.
That was beautiful. That was
thank you.
absolutely fabulous.